Good morning. It is another sunny day so far. Some are saying that it's going to start raining at noon today, and some are saying that it's going to rain tonight. And so far it looks more like tonight, so fingers crossed. And I have, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 kilometers left to the cabin where I'm gonna have breakfast, and then we're gonna head on out. I'm not sure how far I'm gonna walk today because my knee started to hurt yesterday and it was pretty painful last night, and whoa, and it's still not very happy. Whoa, this bridge is about to go down. So I might have to not walk so far today. Yeah. My tent was soaked this morning because I woke up at 3 as always. But I knew, because I was camping down at the river, but when I put up my tent it was really windy, so I figured that would help. But as soon as I was about to go to bed, the wind just stopped, so I was prepared for a lot of condensation, which I had, but it's okay. It's sunny, so I could dry everything. So yeah, we'll see. The environment changed to kind of looks like at home, but we're just about to head into another valley, so we'll see what it looks like from there on. Okay, so that's where we came from. And voila, pretty. And there's the cabins. It's time for breakfast and some lemonade. Not sure where we're going after that, but I think we're going that way. I think. Who knew Sweden could be this beautiful? We are almost done with the climb. Almost. I think that's the end of the climb. Then we have to go downhill again. It feels like I've been walking forever and ever and ever. But I found the lake. We just have to go down here and find the cabin, and then we have to take a little boat ride over the lake. Let's get down there. So the way down to the cabins are very steep and rocky, and it is killing my knee. It hurts so bad. And I know once I pass the lake, let me show you, I have to go above this. I have to climb over this little hill thing. But that's okay, I can go upwards, I cannot go down. So I just got a ride from that cabin over the lake, over this thing, and it's raining. And I asked if there's somewhere you can camp close by. Like, yeah, after 4 kilometers, there's a great camp spot. I'm like, ah, I don't want rain. But I bought something really, really nice for dinner, so I have to find a camp spot somewhere. Like an extra fly in my Bear Grylls rain poncho. Just about as cool as he is. And I did find a camp spot very close to the lake. So, joke's on him. This is where I'm gonna be camping. So I'm gonna quickly put up my tent before it starts pouring down. And make dinner. So I'm in my tent, about to make dinner. Baked beans and tomato sauce. For some reason I've been craving this ever since I started this hike, and I found it. I bought it. It was expensive. This was like $3. But it's gonna be so worth it. And it's still early, it's like 4 o'clock, but I've had enough, my knees had enough, and I don't want to be out in the rain. So it's an early night for me. But I don't mind. I got tomato beans. I got beans and tomato sauce. It's a party. So I will see you tomorrow morning when we do our, well, it's gonna be, I think, 13 kilometers at least, and then we'll see what happens. So good night, y'all. See you tomorrow. Good morning. It is a rainy day. I do not feel like hiking, not one bit. It's raining on and off. And it's like 9:30. And I realized that I have to pack up. But we are going to, the next cabins are 16 kilometers away. And there's a bus that leaves to Ritsem, which is where I have to go, because I have a package there, and that is also the place where you have reception. Because I have to figure out what to do next, where to go, or if I should just end it. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. I have to check what the weather's gonna be like and those kinds of stuff. But now we have to pack up. And I wouldn't mind being here longer, because, like I said, I have 16 kilometers to do, and the bus leaves at 5, I think, and it's like 9:30 now, so I have a lot of time to get there. And it's not like I want to take any breaks today because it's raining. So we'll see. But yeah, pack up and somehow pack up my tent without killing all these guys. Ugh, it's gonna be mush in my tent. I'll see you out in the rain. This climb just never stops. I think this is the first PCT-esque climb of the King's Trail. It's not very steep, but it's very long. I think that is the end of it. There they are, the reindeers. It's windy. We finally made it to the top. Woohoo! I don't know if you can see it, but the reindeers are down there. So I took the first break for today and we have about 2 kilometers left. It's right down there. And I met a group of older gentlemen back there and they said that the last kilometer is really steep. So I guess it's like yesterday. So I'm sorry, knee, because my knee is actually hurting pretty good going down. Upwards is fine, but down, not so much. And yeah, it's been a lot, even though it took me like 4 hours so far. Ish. It's gonna take like 4 hours to get down. It felt like forever. It was just that kind of scenery where you can't really see the end, and as soon as you think you're close to the end, you go over the hill and you're like, oh, there's another one. Oh, another one. And it was cold, but it was okay. And I actually think that I'm gonna end my hike down here because of my knee and because I feel like I've seen all that I want to see. Going through the Vista Valley was like the best decision. It was so amazing. And I know the King's Trail from now on will be more up and down. And yeah. Also, I took 3 weeks off. It's unpaid leave. Don't really know how my mathematic brain worked that out because I won't have any money because I've only worked 1 week this month. So I think I'm going to shorten my holiday to 2 weeks and then go back and work 1 week more. So I'll actually have some money to live off because I'm pretty broke, like super broke. And then take next week and just be home, like go out in the woods, pick berries or mushrooms and whatever. So, but we're gonna head on down to this place and figure something out. Because the problem is there is no, I haven't had cell service since I left Abisko. I don't think they have it down here. I think I have to go to Ritsem, and that bus is leaving at 5. So we'll see. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. Now I'm just gonna drink some water and then do this climb. See you down there. So I guess that's where I'm going or something. Still have some climbing to do. Climbing. Downhill climbing. But as always, it's beautiful. So it's our last night in the tent because I finally managed to rebook half of my train ticket. I'm gonna have to try again tomorrow once I am somewhere where I have where I can use my phone, because right now I don't. I've used the guy who runs the cabin. I used his phone to try and rebook parts of my trip. So I have the most important train ride, which is the night train. I have a spot on. The rest I can figure it out. So I'm just about to do some dishes and do some dinner and then enjoy my last night in my tent. I have a pretty nice view from the tent, so I'm gonna show you. Alright? Stick with me. Good morning. We are packed and ready to go home.
Vi fick ju någonting om att det var försenat. Okej.
we are back home. The ending is kind of weird on this video, but it took a long time to get back home from the trail. I started at, I think, 9. The bus left from where I was camping at Vakkotavare. And then once I got to the train, things got delayed. And trains were being cancelled, and eventually I managed to get on the last train from Boden, and I ended up coming back home to my apartment at like 11:30 the day after, so more than 24 hours. So it was a long day. But I'm back home. I just finished my first day of work, so I want to quickly do this video before I'm too tired, because you know, the brain gets mushy when you're back at work after 3 weeks off. And a lot of things happened since I got back home. And well, basically I left the trail because my knee was hurting pretty bad. It still hurts. I don't know what happened because I didn't fall, and like it started to hurt even on day 3. And it got swollen and it just hurt like really bad. So I decided to leave the trail because I felt like I've seen what I wanted to see, basically. And this whole trip was just a wing it kind of trip. I didn't really have a plan. I had kind of like a plan. I was gonna walk the stretch that I walked. I changed it a little. And then after that, my plan was to either continue on the King's Trail or go off-road in Sarek National Park. I did have a map and I did have a compass for that trail. It wasn't a trail, but that trip, but I decided not to. And in hindsight, I am really happy I did leave the trail, because one of the things when you're out hiking like this or on the PCT is a really positive thing is that you don't have service, so you can really relax and just not think about the whole social media, you know, the rest of the world. I really like that part. But the hard part is when you go back into town and you do have service, and at least I always had kind of like anxiety. I was worried that I would have messages telling me that something happened, something's wrong, and then I would be so far away. And it did kind of happen when I was on the PCT. But when I got back home from the King's Trail, a week later my grandma passed away. So I'm really happy that I was home for that. And that I got to say goodbye to her when she was still at home. Otherwise, it would have been one of those situations where I would have turned my phone on and I would have messages saying something happened. So I guess there's a reason for everything. So yeah, but the King's Trail. I have to say, I was so impressed of Sweden and our nature and how wonderful it is. Because I knew that it was going to be beautiful. I just didn't know it would be that beautiful. Like, it didn't feel like Sweden. And it was also really far up. Like, it's above the Arctic Circle. And it took me, well, like I told you, it took me more than 24 hours to go back home, but it was delayed. But going up, I left at 6:30 in the evening, and I arrived at 11:30 by lunchtime the next day. So it takes a while. And if you're only hiking the King's Trail, it's really easy to find. There are a lot of signs everywhere, and there's, like, I always had like a real trail I could follow. When I did my little reroute, visiting the Vista Valley and the Nalo cabins, Going to Vista was really easy. Going to Nalu was also very easy because you always follow the stream, the river. So even if there's no real trail, you know that, well, I'm going that way. Because you can't really go any other way because there are mountains on each side. And also heading from Nalu to Selka, that's the only time I didn't really have a trail because it was just rocks everywhere, but you can still see where you were supposed to go. Because again, there's only one way. This is where we're going, this is where you have the mountains. And you have cabins everywhere. There are cabins like every, I'd say 8 to 12 kilometers, there's a cabin. And that's like what, like 5 to 6 miles? You have a cabin, so if you want to pay for it, you don't have to even have a tent. And if you want to have your tent, you can either camp by the cabins and you can pay a little extra fee and you can use like showers and sauna and the kitchen. Not this year though because of Corona, but otherwise you can do it. If not, there's like a campsite really close to a cabin, so you don't really have to think about that. You don't have to filter any water. I did actually bring my Sawyer, but I never used it because the water is so fresh and there's water everywhere. The trail is kind of rocky. Some parts are very rocky, so I might have said some unfriendly things to the trail a couple of times. So the PCT was very luxurious that way, but you know. And the part that I walked, there wasn't really any climbs. I had a couple of climbs the last part, but it was not very steep. It was like gradual, and it wasn't hard. It was a piece of cake. So yeah, if you have the possibility next year, if things have settled down in the world, you should definitely come to Sweden and hike the Kingstrail because it was so beautiful. It is so light outside because it's so far up north. So you have the summer sun and you have reindeers everywhere. And it's just amazing. So definitely do that. And I was so happy to be back out on trail again. Like I just felt it. My first steps on the Kingstrail, I just felt like I'm back home. I was back where I belonged, out on the trail, like getting myself to wherever I needed to be. And if I had to go somewhere, I had to go there myself. And that is the best feeling in the world. Maybe not some days, but once you get there, you feel really proud. And it wasn't cold. It was like the last day was a little cold because it was really windy and I was up on the mount. We call it Kalfjällen. I don't know what the word in English is, but it's when you're up high, like above the tree line. So if it's windy, it's windy. But I had views, I had reindeers, who cares? So yeah, thank you for joining my little Sweden adventure. I know a lot of you have asked about Swedish trails, so here we go. Now I'm gonna do some painting because when I was in my grandma's house, I found all these empty canvases. So, because she was also painting, so I'm gonna continue on this little thing here. Then I will see you somewhere, but we will see what we will figure out next for video contents. If you have any ideas, let me know. If not, have a great one and bye.